What's your story?
Thanks, Fortune. It's always a pleasure talking with you, brother. And thank you for inviting me to take part in this podcast or this vlog. Yeah, my name is Martin, and my story starts in 1985 when I was born in Bulgaria, in a very small town in the middle of the country, and the population is about 70,000 people. So it's a small town in the middle of Eastern European country, and I grew up in a middle class family. My parents are divorced, so I grew up with my mom, and from a very young age, I saw her building a business, and she was an entrepreneur. She worked for herself, and also did my father. And I've always had them as an example of somebody who overcoming all odds to work for themselves, and instead of working for somebody else, actually providing work for other people. And always in my mind, I knew that I want to have my own business. And growing up, I wasn't a straight student, or like I wasn't the best in anything really. But I made the decision to get out of the country and move to Ireland, where I live right now. Long story short, I was in different countries living as well, but I decided to stay in Ireland. And living here, I started without knowing anybody. I started without any significant experience in business or in anything. So I was doing what everybody else was doing really in the first years after college, like working small jobs. I was working in restaurants and bars. And even though it was a lot of fun working in that kind of environment, it wasn't very fulfilling. It wasn't what I wanted to do, because, as I said, from a very young age, I always wanted to have my own business. And one day I was offered a business opportunity in the travel space, and I wish I could say that I saw the opportunity right away and I understood how huge it is, but that wasn't the case. And maybe that was because I had no experience in the travel industry, or like I said, in business at the time. But I understood one thing, that travel is the largest industry in the world. It's not $9 trillion industry. It's huge. It's bigger than cars. It's bigger than wellness. It's bigger than utilities. It's quite simply, it's the biggest industry in the world. So understanding that, I realized that it's a huge pie. It's a huge market. It's massive market. So having an opportunity to enter this market, as if in any business, when you go in, you have to consider like the market that you're going in, how big it is. So you're going for a slice of that cake. So how big is that cake that you're going after? Because your goal is to get a slice out of this cake. So realizing travel is that big, I figured that I don't really need a slice out of this huge pie. I just need to stick my finger in it and lick the frosting, and I'm sorted for the rest of my life. And yeah, I made the decision, and I start working on it. And I wish I could say that it was easy, or that it was, I had success right off the bat. But like with anything, the beginning is the hardest, in anything in life. But you have to make the decision. I know that in your audience there are people who've already started businesses, or maybe are about to start business. They're looking for an inspiration. They're looking for some knowledge or ideas what to do. And what I can say is that you'll never be ready. Like, you know yourself, everyone on this entrepreneurial journey can tell you, you'll never be ready. You just have to jump. And as Steve Harvey says, jump, and as you're falling down, on the way down, your wings will grow and you will learn how to fly and flop. And then you soar. But it's going through the process of the dream, the struggle, and the prize. You got a dream, you want to do something, then there's going to be struggle, be ready for it, and then comes the prize. So in the last few years, it's been just an amazing journey, and we visited so many places. We've been traveling so much and helped people who've never traveled, who've never experienced this, to fulfill their dreams and go on trips of a lifetime, really, but take them more often. Thanks to my decision, I managed to take my mom to Niagara Falls. I took her to Rome and to Lisbon, and for someone like her who grew up in a communist country where people were not allowed to travel, they were not allowed to leave the country, and it was heavily controlled on every level of their existence. And as you know, travel gives that sense of freedom, of liberation, of adventure, of something unknown. Like, seeing this in her eyes and how big it is for her made me realize that travel is probably one of the most fulfilling things a human being can do in their life, and that's why I think all the advertisings for the lottery are with travel. So yeah, it was a great decision, and right now we're in lockdown. It's 2020 for those who are watching this in the future, and here in Ireland we have the highest levels of restrictions and movements, and people are not advised to travel, people are not advised to leave their homes, people are not advised to get in groups, or to limit their advised to limit their social interactions, to stay home, to work from home if possible. So this year provided a lot of challenges for our industry. We've seen a lot of drawback from the industry. Big players in the travel industry has had to cut and a lot of the staff, and their resources, their assets, and in every times of trouble and struggle, there's also an opportunity. This was definitely a challenging year, but with challenges you become stronger, you become more resilient, you focus on what's important. And even through all these challenges that we had this year, we managed to complete a few trips, which I'm very grateful for. One of them was to Santorini in August, which was just an incredible island. If you haven't been to it, I can highly recommend it. It's so beautiful. But this year we managed to see it in a unique way, I would say. Normally it would be very, very busy. First time I was there a few years ago, it was crowded. It was like so many people from everywhere. But now when we went, there was still people, but it wasn't crowded. You can move around, you can really enjoy, and the sunset, it's just spectacular. A sunset so beautiful that people clap at the end of it. So we had a great time, and yeah, that's my story in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that. There's so much you shared there, and we're gonna go into them one by one. And the fascinating thing for me that you said was that you did not figure it out right off the bat. So what was the point for you? At what point did you realize this was it? Like, this was the next thing. This is the thing I want to do for the rest of my life.
Yeah, good question. Well, I knew one thing, that I don't want to be an employee for the rest of my life. That's one thing. So once you make that realization, because there's two ways really, you either going to work for somebody or you're going to work for yourself. And if you sit down and you put it on a piece of paper for the pros and cons for each category. So yeah, if you work for somebody, like you, so-called security, which obviously is not very secure. This year just showed us how little job security there is.
Yes.
Because as soon as something happens, the first people who say bites the bullet are the employees. But yeah, each category has pros and cons. And when I sit down and I just saw, okay, if I work for somebody, I'll always be told where to be, when to be, how long. I have a cap on my income. And at the end of the week or the month, you always get the same amount of money. But if you start your own business, yeah, you're not going to be successful right off the bat. Not necessarily. Some people are. It depends what you're doing. But you don't have a cap on your income, first of all. You don't have a cap on your time. It all depends how you structure your business, of course, but you have the possibility to be not just financially free, but also time free, because you own a business system where the business generates income for you, or you have people working for you while you sleep. So this is what being an entrepreneur is. And of course, it comes with the risk of, maybe investing money into it, or maybe investing a lot of time at first, but then down the road, the benefits are bigger. So making that decision, and like I said, I grew up in a family where, my mom was an entrepreneur, my dad was an entrepreneur. So I had that example in my life. So I knew that it's better. So once you have that decision that you've made, that, okay, I want to start my own business, then you have to think about what industry you want to go into, because you got to think in terms of, what is that thing that I would do for the rest of my life, that I would enjoy doing, I won't get bored of it, and I would do it even if I'm not getting paid for it. So many people are making everything about money. Oh, what would I do that was going to make money? It's going to make money. Like, there's a lot of things that can make you money. Many of them could be also unethical or unmoral, but that doesn't mean that you should go do them if that contradicts with your standards, or it's something that is not going to make you happy. So if you're doing things just for the sake of money, you're probably on the wrong track. So you gotta think in terms of, what is that thing that's gonna make me happy? What's gonna make other people happy? And think in terms of win, win, win. Everybody has to win in the equation. So for me, there was two things that straight off the bat, I realized that, travel, wellness, fitness, these are things that I'm really passionate about. I'm really taking care of. I want to live in a body that it's healthy, that it's feeling good, because your body is your vehicle, that it's getting you through this world. And this is how we get the experience, through our senses, our sight, your smell, your taste. This is our vehicle. So looking after a vehicle is a huge part. But then looking after your vehicle for what? For the sake of what? To experience what? If you're doing, like we all realize it this year, staying at home, doing the same thing over and over again, what's the level of happiness that we have? Is it the same as before? We feel happy when we go do things for the first time, when we go places we haven't been before, when we do things we haven't done before, when we meet people for the first time, and that interaction, when there is the click. So travel is that thing that for me is for sure something that I'll never get bored of. Like I said, every time I go to Santorini, I love it, or to Paris or to Barcelona, because I go at different times of the year. I go with different people. I do different things. I'm different because I change every year. So it's a never-ending process, and it's an ongoing process. So find your passion. Like, and you don't need to find your passion. I'm sure you already have your passion.
Yes.
You just haven't maybe recognized it or acknowledge it, or the awareness. But it's one of those things that you have to figure out what it is, what drives you, what motivates you. And the reason why is because of like every journey, the beginning is gonna have challenges. And if you're passionate about what it is, what you want to get into, the chances are you're not gonna have the fortitude get over those struggles, get over those challenges, overcome them, so you can get to the prize. So the dream is the struggle and the prize. So the struggle is going to be there. So whatever the dream is, you have to have a strong why, like motivation or something that drives you, because that driving force is going to help you get over the struggle. And yeah, so I didn't figure this, I didn't figure out straight away, but as I was getting more information, as I was like looking into it and reading and understanding not only business but travel as an industry, I became more and more excited, more and more enthusiastic, more and more passionate, and with every trip, with every smile that we bring to other people's faces on their holidays, it's very, very rewarding.
Oh, thank you very much for that. There are a couple of things, that we mentioned 2 years ago that just kept on coming to me when you were speaking. You talked about the dream, the struggles, and the prize. Some people right now, let's assume now that the people listening to this, they found that dream, and they kind of understand, okay, this is the price I'm trying to get. Their struggles, that's struggle in between. 2 years ago, you told me about how this is all about personal development, where it is all about who you are, which I also believe this. I also believe the same, where I tell people that, listen, you are the problem of your business. If we take you out of your business and put somebody else, the business will be good. So what are those things that helped you transform into the person that you are right now, looking back? What are some of the things, the steps or the principles, the habits, disciplines that you took in, that you say that if you give to anybody now and they actually follow those disciplines, those habits, they will get to that result. They will get to that dream or that price, and it will help them. It will help them in going through the struggles. What are some of those things?
Yeah, it's all about personal development. That's true, but it's also about taking action. So I just want to put that there, that if you're just learning and reading and becoming more knowledgeable, that's not going to be enough. But it's definitely a major part on that journey. So the action has to be put in there, but just doing a lot of action without knowing what you're doing is also not going to be good. And I'm going to give an analogy with, like, let's say swimming. So if you're in the water and you might know how to swim, you have all the knowledge how to swim, but you don't move, you're gonna sink and you're gonna drown. Or if you're taking all the action and you're in the water and you're doing loads of moves, you're all over the place, you're huge output of energy, it's probably a little bit better, right? But you're gonna get exhausted real quick, real fast, and you're gonna sink because you don't have the knowledge of how to swim. So in business and like on that entrepreneurial journey, the first step is you have to get in the water.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have to make the decision and get in the water. That's the first action. That's the biggest, challenge, and that initial jump. Now, once you're in the water, it's together. You have to learn and move at the same time. Learn and move at the same time. Some people prefer to know everything before they get started, so they learn a lot, but they don't do anything. And other people go and they start taking a lot of action. They make a mess real quick, and they get frustrated or scared or whatever, and they also drop out. So it has to be a balance. It's like walking on a rope a little bit, where you have to balance between the two. So personal development is very important part, because you are your business. People don't buy, they buy you. That's what they do. And I'm not just talking about, maybe some people are in product, they're selling a product or a service or whatever, but the way you think affects the way you act in the world, the decisions that you make, the actions that you take. And through those actions, you get your results. So it all starts with a thought process. Like even if you're in design, the way you think is going to affect the way you design things. And the way you design things are going to affect the way people feel about your products or your services. Even if you're in sales and you're talking with people, whatever you're offering them, they're gonna judge your offering on you, based on you, the way you look, the way you talk, how much they like you. So personal development is everything. It's the way you interact with people, and in many cases, it's more about how not to annoy other people, how not to bother them, just being aware of that, than anything else, because we're all very different personalities, and sometimes personalities can clash. So being aware of who you are and being aware of what other people are too, now you can adjust and speak the same language to people. So if I'm speaking Bulgarian to you, which is my native language, and you don't speak Bulgarian, and you're speaking to me in Nigerian, which I don't speak, what are the chances we can communicate properly? No, we can't. We cannot do business together, because we're speaking completely different languages. But if you have taken the time to learn my language, and if I have taken the time to learn your language, now our communication is going to be on a total different level. Therefore, we can work better and we can achieve more, right? So we're speaking English right now, both of us, because we spend some time in our life to develop the skill of speaking English. And that applies to any other skill. Communication, it could be marketing, it could be sales. The skill of listening is probably one of the most important skills. Getting your ego out of the equation is another thing. Your emotional intelligence and developing empathy to understand other people, that's another skill. And just the way you think, your thought process. Are you thinking positive? Are you your biggest cheerleader or your biggest naysayer, your dream stealer? You say to yourself when you're by yourself, are you saying to yourself, oh, you're not good enough, why you're lying to yourself, you're too young, you've never done anything like this? Or you're saying to yourself, oh, you're too old, you don't have the time to do this. So what is the thinking process? Because that is affecting you emotionally. So getting rid of doubt is something very, very important. You have to get rid of doubt, and you have to be your biggest cheerleader. You have to be your biggest motivator. And that personal development that we're talking about, whether this is coming in books or it's coming in audios or it's coming in videos on YouTube, there's so much information right now. This is where it comes in, plugging into that positive voice, that encouraging, motivational message. Because we are all raised, it's not our parents' fault, it's just it's a negative world that we're living in. Turn on the news, you turn on the TV, there's so much negativity, newspapers, so much negativity. Growing up as a kid, your parents are probably like my parents, or like most of my friends' parents, where they were like, stop, don't do this, be careful. It's all this message that kids not necessarily listen to the words, they more get the emotion that you transfer. So yeah, we've been programmed from a very young age, in somewhat negative way. So positivity is something that you have to find for yourself. You have to find it and you have to look for it, and then you have to reprogram yourself. And when you see something, instead of judging it and looking for what's wrong with it, to find the positive, optimistic part of it. And this is where personal development comes in, because it will help you on your journey when the challenges comes in, the struggle comes in. Instead of looking at them as, oh, this is a big problem, this is where I stop, this is what I can't overcome, which is obviously a negative self-talk, you get, okay, so where is the opportunity? What can I take from this? What do I learn from facing this obstacle? So the personal development will help with the mindset and with cheering you up, giving you that fuel, if you wish, to get over whatever is in front of you. Because it's life. This is how it is. There's always going to be an obstacle in front of you. As soon as you pass this one, there's going to be another one. As soon as you get through, and there's going to be another one. So it's not about what's on the other side. It's about the journey that you're going through these obstacles, because every new challenge is going to require a new version of you. It's going to require you bringing the best of you. At the end of it all, it's about that. It's about you becoming the best version of yourself. It's about your journey. And when you look back on, on your life, when you look back on you from last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and you'll be like, whoa, that was really me. I've come so far. And that's only happening because of the challenges and the struggles. The worse the conditions are when you're growing, let's say, a vine of grapes, the worse the conditions are of the soil, the deeper the roots gets of that grape. Same way, like when a small chick is hatching from an egg, they're trying to break the shell of the egg with their beak. And if you actually go and help them and you break the egg for them, you're actually killing them, because that struggle of the little chick to get off the shell is actually what's hardening their beak, which is going to allow them later on in their life to be able to pick seeds and food from the ground. But if you break the egg, you're not giving them that opportunity to strengthen, to give them that toughness, that fortitude to be able to go through the next challenge in their life. So don't be mad at the challenges, be grateful for them. And it's so easy to say. I'm saying it right now from my webcam, from the screen. It's much easier to say, but it's way harder to do. So personal development, everyone can be positive and optimistic when things are going well.
Yes.
Anyone can be like, yeah, everything is great. But when the challenge comes in, that's when personal development comes in place. That's where you need it the most. It's just a reminder of how things actually are. Because when the challenge comes in, it's easy to go on the other side of the line. Start doubting yourself, being negative, get frustrated, lose control of your thoughts and emotions, and then maybe take the wrong decision or up or something like that. So personal development is your invisible cheerleader. It's that thing inside of you. It's like a shelter inside of you with armor around it. Like, imagine it like a superhero living inside of you that nobody can see, but it's like, like having a rhino skin or having an armor suit or something like this. So when the challenges comes in, you don't shake inside. You don't get you don't lose your emotions, because when your emotions goes high, IQ goes down, and when IQ goes down, we make stupid decisions. And we people, we're emotional creatures. We make decisions emotionally, and we justify them with logic. So the decision is made emotionally, then we justify it with logic. And if the outside world has an easy access, like it easily changes your mood or interferes, then you're easily manipulated and controlled. A perfect example is the weather. Some people are, the weather is affecting their mood.
Yes.
When it's sunny, they're happy. When it's raining, they're not happy. How much control do you have over your emotional state and your being if something unpredictable and uncontrollable like the weather has such an impact on you? You gotta be, in control of that. You gotta be in control of your emotions, but that comes when you're in control of your thoughts, because your thoughts determine your emotions, and then your emotions determines your actions, and your actions gets your results. So reading books on personal development, becoming the best version of yourself, plugging in that positive motivational voice is affecting the way you think. So you start thinking positive, you start feeling good, you start feeling positive. Now you're finding the right answers, you're making the right decisions, and you're bringing the right results into your life, because that's how the law of attraction works. Your mind is a magnet. If you think good things, you attract good things. And there's so many books written on that, and movies made on that topic, and everyone who has achieved anything in their life would say that this is the major part.
The mind. Yeah, thank you very much. There's something you said there. You said when the emotions go up, the intellect, the intelligence goes down. That's mind blowing on its own. Well, thank you very much for that. My next question is really around. It's two questions in one. It's around opportunity. What are the opportunities right now in your industry? Bringing it back to your industry now, the travel. What are the current opportunities you see now? And what are the opportunities you see that this new wave of what's going on right now in the world can create for the future?
Great question. So travel is a huge opportunity right now. If you know Warren Buffett, he's said he's the biggest investor probably ever lived, and I think he's the second, maybe the third richest man on planet Earth. So Warren Buffett has said, when people are greedy, be fearful, and when people are fearful, be greedy. So if you do what everybody else is doing, you would get what everybody else is getting. But if you're doing what no one else is doing, then you have the lead. So right now, we've been told from everywhere that we shouldn't travel, we should stay home, we should avoid any non-essential travel, and so on. And yes, I totally agree. We should all protect each other, but that doesn't mean that this is going to be forever. I will give another example here. It's when you take away the freedoms of somebody, like if somebody loves ice cream, if somebody loves ice cream and you take away ice cream from them, sooner or later when ice cream comes in contact with them, they're gonna go crazy. They're gonna go crazy. They're just gonna swim in ice cream. So since everyone has been I believe everyone has lost some holidays this year, and some travel plans have been changed, because now it's November, the middle of November. Since March, we've been told the same things in many countries. Some countries open for tourism, but later on closed in Europe. Some countries never open for tourism. The rules are different everywhere, but once you know the rules, you can go, because every country has different rules. You can go and you can complete a trip, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. It depends on your current situation. So the opportunities that I see in travel is that next year is going to be different than this year. We're getting a lot more information about the current situation, about the consequences from the virus, not just health-wise, but also economic-wise. Plus there's been news about vaccine. I think governments will be much more relaxed now when a vaccine has been developed. And certainly many people will be relaxed about this as well. So what I see in 2021 is a huge surge in the travel industry. When travel comes back, it's just going to be a huge demand on airlines. It's going to be a huge demand on hotels. It's going to be a huge demand on tour operators. And when demand goes up, the prices will go up. That's why right now the demand is low, or it's perceived low. Therefore, you can find some of the best travel deals right now. So what we're doing as a business right now is we're setting up contracts with different hotels around the world, like big brands. And what we're doing is we're buying travel right now on the prices right now, and we're freezing those prices for the next 24 months, for the next 2 years. Offer those prices to our customers when travel bounces back, when the demand goes up again and the prices goes up. We've already set up contracts that we can deliver travel on the best prices guaranteed. And I'm not talking about some, off-season dates in some, unknown hotels. I'm talking about big brands, 4 and 5 star hotels, popular destinations, on season. So it's definitely going to be a very, very exciting year next year, and for sure 2022. I'm looking forward to the development of all this, and it's about positioning. It's all about positioning. If you position yourself now in front of what's about to come, obviously you can reap the benefits of it.
Great. Thank you very much. That was priceless. That was priceless. Now, in terms of opportunity, one of the things I admire about you, and I wanted to really get you on and come speak with us, is the fact that you're not only helping yourself, your family. You just went on a trip with your family, took your mom. That was a beautiful experience. I saw some of the pictures and I'm like, oh, wow, this was beautiful. But you're also helping other people do the same. You're helping other people also in terms of you're helping people travel better, as well as help them entrepreneurially. So for those who want to get into this industry, for those who want to take advantage of the travel industry and all of the things that you help them with, whether they want to travel better and take advantage of the upcoming season and the surge of travel, or for those who want to become entrepreneurs and they want to really capitalize on that, on this industry, how can they contact you? How can they reach out to you? So you can help them. What's the process? Where can they reach you? How would they get to you?
The best place to reach me is on Instagram. If you put in Travel with Martin, I should come up. My name is Martin Stoynov. So put in Travel with Martin on Instagram. There you can see photos and stories and videos, and you can see everything what's going on. Shoot me a direct message. I usually answer within 24 hours. Unless I'm traveling and there's something going on and I'm busy, but I usually do answer. I'm looking after everyone who has reached out to me and has had some questions. I'm always happy to help, to give more information, especially like you said, for people who wants to start their entrepreneurial journey. I can relate to this a lot because I've been in the same situation myself, and I know how confusing it could be at first when you're looking at the maze. But having somebody who can guide you through the steps is definitely something who helped me, and all I can do is to pass it on back and pass it forward for other people. So yeah, feel free to reach on Instagram, Travel with Martin.
Travel with Martin. All right, Martin. Thank you very, very much for the opportunities you shared with us, for continually helping people. You're a light. Your light is beaming in the world, and I appreciate you. I appreciate your presence here, also with us. Thank you very much for everything. So
Fortunately, it's always a pleasure, and
yes, yes,
an
yes,
honor
yes.
to help here and to share some value with your audience.
Yes, thank you very much. So I also look forward to traveling with you soon. So
Yeah, we can organize it.
of
It'll be a
course,
pleasure.